Kia ora, g'day, welcome back once again, here with another reaction, part 2 of my reaction to former 2-2 SAS operator. I heard the first name, it's Sean. I don't know what his second name is, and I do not know the name of this host, but it is the All on Black podcast. And so I'll make sure that I've got the links in the description. So here's part 2. He's just spoken about some of the adventures that they had in the Ukraine, getting pulled over, dragged out of the vehicle, questioned a bit, proving who they were, and then being let go. Then they went down another path, and the same sort of thing happened. So let's jump back in.
Timeline-wise, when is that month, year?
Ooh, that would have been, let's have a look, maybe May time last
2022?
year. Yeah,
that sounds like early war type of things.
Yeah, so that was kind of exciting. So we kind of drove back like that. Jesus, that was an experience. But
yeah, did you have a rape whistle on you or anything to defend against the Russian military?
We didn't have anything, but
yeah, could have saved you. All right, so then in May, and then I think we met up with you end of June or early July, something like that. Yeah. Probably pretty shortly after.
Yeah,
I think we had signed our paperwork together, and then kind of went on from there with some of our favorite and least favorite people all in one. Yeah, so I guess if you want to talk about maybe that little bit of time from the July to September, October time frame, and kind of what you were up to. I know, but for everyone else, kind of what you were up to in that time.
Yeah,
and a little bit of a difference from what you were doing before.
So, yeah, I kind of got sold the Legion on kind of some false promises. So I was told that the unit I was going for, they do this, that, and the other. They run human teams. They're blowing up trains in the forests and everything, working way behind the lines. And I was like, sweet, that sounds like a bit of me. Yeah, I'll kind of go for that. When I turned up, I kind of realised that I'd been sold a bit of a donkey. Turned up, and it was literally the guy that had sold me that donkey literally kind of brushed his hands and was like, over to you, it's your game. And I was kind of like, holy shit. So I kind of wore that for a little while, tried to kind of get a few jobs going. Yeah, me and Ned was one of the other TLs in that group. We got called in to help with the planning of another big mission. And while we were down there, we kind of got asked, do you want to go fighting? And it was like, yeah, we do. He was like, right, okay, get yourself to here. So we drove all the way, eating jelly babies and Monster.
The usual diet for you?
Kind of got down there, and I got told, okay, you're leading black team, as it was. So I was like, okay, right. And that kind of kicked off probably a little bit of an epic. So the job, how it was explained to us was some guys were going to swim down a river a good couple of kilometers, get to a pre-planned kind of landing point, recce or recon it for mines and Russians, make sure it was all kind of safe, and then kind of give us the call over the radios. We were going to come in as 26 men. It was 26 men. We're going to land all quietly, all on night vision, sneak into the bottom part of a village, try and clear it very quietly, and gain a foothold. When we gained that foothold, we were going to send on the radios And that was going to kick off. Engineers blowing a bank down to make it flatter so armour could kind of pull up it. Armour was then going to drive across the quite shallow river, swing a left turn and move in and support us. We also had some engineers that were going to clear through the mines that were just behind us. And all of that was going to be with quite heavy artillery support, tanks, a BMP to get the wounded out. To say it didn't work out that way would be an understatement. So we turned up there and I was expecting to see, you know, tons of tanks, armour, artillery and everything. And we got there and there was nobody, just some inflatable boats. So we were like, boom, 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 boom. Just got absolutely pummeled with quite accurate drone controlled mortars and artillery at the actual embarkation point for this landing. The lads had already swum down the river to recce that. One of the boats got damaged. We all took cover in some buildings. We sent teams down. It caused quite a significant delay. We were supposed to land in pure darkness. It ended up pushing into daylight. And we landed, and as my team was headed down the river, we got, I don't know, 100 odd yards away from the kind of D-bus point, the beach landing, if you will. And it sounded like the entire universe opened up. So loads of small arms fire, loads of explosions. I was like that to the boat driver, get down there now. So he puts a kind of spurt on. We pull up. You see the lead medic for those 26 men shot through the thigh, self-tourniqueting on the beach. So he didn't quite make it anywhere. He literally jumped off a boat and got dropped. Two rockets get fired. I crawl up. I'm like, what is happening? And it was an ex-SFSG lad was like, Charlie team's gone long. I'm like, okay, right. Everyone get on my back, follow me. Kind of charged after Charlie team, tried to catch them, couldn't. They kind of did a little chicane through a load of buildings and ran smack into a PKM at point blank range. Took another couple of wounded. We'd left 2 guys on the riverbank for the apparent reinforcements. So we were now down to 10 guys. We kind of hooked in. The team commander of the team that had ran into the PKM, and it was literally nose to nose. So I'm talking 5 yards or less, full frontal arc, PKM, rifles, the whole lot. He tries telling me where to put guys, and I'm like, mate, go away. You just got your guys chewed up. Like, I'll decide which way we're going. So tried to kind of push round on a left hook. Couple of Kiwis nearly got dropped. Pulled them back out of the way. Tried a right hook, same. So I was like, right, okay. I think all up, I threw maybe 7 grenades, something like that. Other guys threw another couple. We tried everything. So we tried 40mm grenade, trying to get that through the wood at the top. It just bounced back. We tried hitting it with an RPG. So we got the beach landing kind of team to back up to the minimum safe distance with an RPG. They smacked an RPG into it. So the whole place was smoking. When I say throw grenades, it was literally kind of posting them right on top of the enemy. I ended up in a bit of a, what would you say, a duel with a PKM gunner. So he was probably about 5 yards away, and in between us was an asbestos gate. And I watched his group size right in front of me grow from one round to probably about that big. I held my ground, end up hitting him in the pelvis. He dropped. I was then like, right, okay. I think it was Charlie team had a linguist in it. So I was like, right, give it a go. He was like, look, you're surrounded by special forces. You're going to be killed if you don't give up. It's only going to get worse. And he was told to fuck off with a massive burst of PKM. That got kind of weird. So we tried a few different things, and I was like, I'm out of options. Has anyone got anything weird that we haven't used? Somebody just puts a thermite grenade in front of me. So thermite is one of those kind of weird things. I think you and the Russians kind of use it for equipment destroying. And I get this kind of Coke can thing put in my hand, and I was like, oh, fuck it. Here we go then. Pulled the pin, shaped thermite out, throw it over, big flare up, load of smoke. And I was like, linguist, give it another go. So he tries the same thing. And the lads that were in the building got their youngest unwounded man and threw him out of the door. So in he comes, had to stop some unseemly things happening to him, grabbed him, sat him on the floor, and he was really shaking. And I mean, literally, like he had a road drill in his hands. And I was like, right, zip tie him, tell him he's done well, but it's game over. I goes, throw him back in there and tell him to get everybody to come out. So we zip tied him, threw him back in. And it wasn't that long after. So probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 seconds after we threw him in, it was, he came out, then the next guy, then the next guy, the next guy, the next guy. I think all up, it was 9 men we captured at that house. So they were all fragged up, all marked up with grenade frag. And I think, to be honest, it was the thermite that actually just broke their will. It kind of freaked them out a little and was a little weird. So that happened. The guy.
Holy crap. I'm just mesmerized listening to what it is that he's talking about. He's very just sort of matter of fact, like this is what happened. We went here, we were told we're going to be doing this. I'd love to know what happened to the leaders or the decision makers in and around this great plan that was going to happen, and where all the support was. And I'd love to know if he asked any questions when he got there and all they saw was a couple of Zods or a couple of rubber boats there in location where he was expecting to see this massive fleet of tanks and other bits and pieces. Wondering if there was any conversations that took place or happened there. But to hear all of that and the chaos, and then them just going through Charlie team, I heard him mention a couple of Kiwis in there who must have been met with some heavy fire while they withdrew back around and that as well. Sadly, there has been, or I didn't know him, but there was at least one Kiwi that lost his life over there. I forget his name, but he was a former infantry battalion guy here in NZ. And by all accounts, he seemed to be well liked and well respected by NZ Defence Force members anyway. But just shows there's a whole bunch of different people over there in the Ukraine from different countries looking to fight to support the Ukrainian cause. And just listening to him speak so just nonchalant about this whole situation is pretty crazy. Thermite grenade, using that, and that must have been the straw that broke the camel's back. Cable tying him, sending him back in, like the guys inside throwing him out. They must have thought, or they must have initially been prepared to just themselves die, but they wanted this young fella to live. I'm guessing. I don't know. But why they would do that, throw him out, and I think Sean said that he appeared to be one of the only ones that wasn't injured by them. That's huge. And they cable time, talk to him, give him some instructions, send him back in, and then these 9 people come out after. Man, what a story. It's not finished yet. Sorry, I cut him off. I'll just jump back into this.
That I'd shot through the pelvis. He was laid on the floor next to an unexploded impact grenade. So the way they work is they work on a 3 to 4 second fuse, or it's got a little ball bearing in it. So if you took one, pulled the pin and dropped it in a swimming pool, the change in kind of gravity would make that ball kind of roll and initiate the explosive. So there was an unexploded one of those literally laid right next to this wounded guy. So I goes to the commander of Charlie team, we need to get him up and out of here. And he was like, why? And I'm like, that's fucking why. He's like, yep, okay. So we scooped him up, carried him back to the medic, and he checked out not long after that. So that kind of kicked off a big chain of events. My team was now lead assault. We needed to left hook around the building that we'd just taken and hit the next kind of compound, if you will. It was one of those where I think it was Ned was like, front gates are out, we can't use them, they'll be wired to blow. I was like, yeah, agreed. So I was like, go get the sledgehammer out of that building. So we ended up with a sledgehammer. I got past that. I took the 66 off my back, extended that, gave it to one of the other boys, grabbed a PKM gunner off the other team, and I was like, right, on go. I'm going to sledge straight through that wall. You're going to get up, fire your 66 into that building, and you're going to pop up and put a round through every empty kind of area of that building. All right. So 1, 2, 3, go. Everything kind of kicks off. I go through the wall, I think with 3 good whacks, give a good breach, get the lads through. We clear that compound. We cleared the next compound, the next one. And
what a bloody tank, man. This guy, I mean, he looks like a tank too. He's a bloody unit looking at it, at the size of him. But far out. Just on the fly, eh? This is what we're doing here. Here's the 66 or the M72. You're going to crack that off into that building. You, the gunner, you're going to put rounds into all these empty, seemingly empty spaces and crack rounds through there while I bust down this, while I breach manual entry. Far out, man. In line with, in spite of everything else that they've just gone through to get to this point. This is freaking hectic.
Yeah, it got kind of bad. We spent the whole rest of the day. It was soon after that we ended up getting mortars and artillery kind of plastered on us, and that didn't let up for the whole rest of the day. So pretty much if you got a Jane's manual of every Russian weapon system, we pretty much went cover to cover. And it was kind of weird. So most of the time that we weren't attacking, we would hide away either inside buildings or get down in the basements. And it was much, much later on in the day. We were all really hungry.
Lucky the buildings of the basements that they were in didn't collapse on them. Like, you know, if they were hit, or they probably were hit in and around, but just clearly, thankfully, hopefully not enough to have those buildings collapse in on them and then just bury them alive, essentially.
Calling for reinforcements, no comms, radios failed. It was
as usual, just when you need them, the comms fail.
A little bit of a mess, and there was an explosion slightly outside, followed by a load of swearing. There was another explosion right by my sentry that kind of we were down in a basement, and it picked the sentry up and threw him down the stairs. So I kind of grabbed him. I was like, "Are you hit?" And he just shouts, "My legs." In that time, two guys had started to go up the stairs, and that was Mickey and Ned. And there was another explosion, literally probably about that far off the back of Ned's head, right in between them. So Mickey was 2 steps up, Ned was 2 steps low, and it kind of went off in between them. It blew Ned straight into me. I went, "Are you hit?" And he just made a noise. So I was like, "Fucking hell," do you know what I mean? Mickey took a bit of frag in the arm. Ned took a little bit in the back of his head. I can remember Josh going, "What the F was that?" And I was like,
This guy, it's impressive to me how this guy I've just picked up here, how he's trying to be really mindful about the language that he uses and not swearing. I've only just picked up on that now. Sorry if he's been doing that. I should have picked up on it earlier, but that's interesting. That's cool. Not many, you don't find too many SAS operators that look to try to be as mindful or communicate that way. Not unless they've been given a precursor or a heads up about it. I don't think his mate here probably would have cared if he did swear. I don't think anybody would care, actually. But it's it's just really interesting. But also for me personally, to listen to him, it's cool to hear that as well.
I think that was a UGL. And he's like, "That's not good." I goes, "We can't stay here." So I kicked all the crap out of the way. Part of the ceiling had kind of stoved in on us as well. Kicked all of that crap out of the way. Led the guys up the steps, counted them out, and threw them into the building opposite. The lads that were already in that building were like, "Mate, we've just been hit in here." So I was like, "Fucking hell, great." I think by that stage, I had torn my bicep on on that arm. So I couldn't actually hold my rifle properly. So I'm like, "Right, grab Ned." I was like, "Ned, do you remember the first basement we were in this morning?" He was like, "Yeah." I goes, "Right, lead them there now. Fucking give me a last man call." So count everybody out. I couldn't get all the way up or all the way down. So it was one of them where at the time we were under fire from a couple of T-72s from across the water. They were kind of pummeling us, and things got pretty kind of rough. We made it all the way back to that basement. We all kind of go inside. And to be honest, by that stage, we'd been fighting long and hard. You know, it was one of them where ammo was looking a little shaky, grenades were looking a little shaky, and it was...
Holy heck, man, I'm just blown away listening to all of this. You're fairly sort of just captivated by the way he tells the experience that he and his teammates went through. And the whole time I'm wondering, where the hell is their support? Obviously the comms and that are down, which is probably a big part why there isn't as or any immediate support there. But getting hit by T-72 tanks, getting hit by accurate Blanken mortars and other indirect fire from what I assume are the Russian forces that they're there fighting against. Hectic, man. Guys lucky to not be obliterated with regards to that round that come in and detonated in between the two. The guy that was 2 stairs up, the other one 2 stairs below, just getting it more, not just, but not having their lives ended, but having some frag instead. And then this guy's torn his bicep. Don't know how or where or when that took place. Maybe it's during the sledgehammering. Maybe it's during the dragging or catching or carrying some of the mates or pulling himself up on something, or who knows what it is. But just getting battered from pillar to post just constantly by that type of fire with such a small team trying to hold this ground. It's crazy, man. It's hectic. What do we got? We'll let this go for a bit longer.
One of them moments where you're like, right, suck it up. A couple of the lads start kind of piling in a bit, and one of them starts hyperventilating. So grab him, sit him next to you. Like, it's all right, no worries. You know, it's been a bad day. You'll get over it, sort of thing. And he's like, thanks, thank you.
Damn, this guy. To speak to his teammates like that, to be so calm, not for me. Hearing this guy Sean and knowing only a little bit of his background, I would have loved to have heard a bit more. Maybe there's other interviews with him. Maybe he'll talk more about it. I don't know. But given his background and the operations and the experience that he would have from his time in 2-2, not surprised that he's speaking to his teammates that way. And I think just as I listen to this, just seems like a testament to me in terms of the training, the ability, the skill that he has, and able to work in with whoever these other soldiers are. Because I doubt he's got other, or maybe he has, but it doesn't sound like he's got other former 2-2 SAS operators in his team with him. It sounds to me like he's working with a whole bunch of other people that he doesn't know, that he's never worked or served with before, and he's just making it work, man. Far out. What do we got? We'll go another minute and then I'll look to wrap this up.
Soon after that, I had to stop the sentry from mowing down a lone Ukrainian with no rifle running towards us. So I was like, right, come in here. So grab him, and he's like, starts spieling Ukrainian at us. And I'm like, mate, I don't understand. So he does this hand motion like that and makes like a boat engine noise. I was like, a boat? Have you come in a boat? And he's like, yes. So I'm like, right, come with us. We take him, have a little kind of conflab, and get to that stage where like black team had to get off the X. So we all pile into a boat, which was dangerously overloaded, but we managed. We all squashed in there. It was dark by now, so we'd been fighting all day, and we start kind of heading back, still under, there's mortars and artillery. We were completely surrounded.
I'm going to pause this there, just looking at the time, man. I was just hopefully you were too. I was just captivated by his retelling of this particular experience, from the RPGs, from everything, from getting the orders for what they were going to do, to the infiltration, to the medic getting shot in the leg in South Tourniquet, and then losing a couple of guys at the infill point, then losing another couple of guys at the PKM from Charlie team, who I think they were trying to chase and trying to catch up to. Eventually got to a point where they were together, to his team then taking the lead. So Sean's team, and I think his team was Black Team, his team taking the lead, to just, man, everything in that chaos that was happening, them to get a foothold into there. And then to stopping one of his sentries, this last part that he's spoken about, from taking out a lone, unarmed Ukrainian soldier running towards them, clearly running towards them to tell them about the boat to try to get them out there. Massive respect to that person, whoever that Ukrainian soldier, unarmed, was, who risked his life to run across that ground to get to these guys and tell them, hey, there's a boat, we've got to get on this boat and get out of here. The courage that it takes, and that it would have taken to do that for that person, was probably a no-brainer. It's probably like, I don't care, I'm going to help my brothers, I'm guessing, is probably the mindset that he had. And man, sounds like he did. Like, otherwise, I don't think Sean would be here, and for us to be able to hear this part of the story. Amazing. And we haven't even got to the part where this guy gets hit by a Russian tank round. Some of the other footage, or not footage, some of the other thumbnails that I've seen, it says that he lost 4 inches of skull and some of his brains in that as well as a result. Not surprising when I look at that bloody massive scar on his head. But wow, that's going to be another awesome story to hear about. I'd love to hear this guy, this host as well, just on a side note. I'd love to hear some of his experiences. So I can't see his name in the description. So if anybody knows the host's name and if he's been on podcasts and shared some of his story or yeah, let me know, and so I can have a look. I'll have to have a look at his channel a little bit more, because maybe he's got part of his story, or maybe he shares some of his story on his podcast, All on Black podcast. So anyway, if you made it this far, thank you very much. Hopefully you've been engrossed and enjoying hearing Sean speak about this one little aspect. Imagine how many other operations and how many other experiences he's got that he could talk about and share if he was willing to. But man, I'm here for it. Anyway, as always, the message is the same, regardless of your challenges, trials, struggles that you may be going through. Man, just encourage you to keep turning up, keep staying in the fight, put one foot in front of the other, take one day at a time. Know that the sun will shine again and that there are better days ahead. I promise you that. Things will not stay miserable forever. So just keep turning up. As always, go always a little further. Remember, who dares wins and who cares wins. And until the next video, there's a big mana wave coming from me to you, filled with my aroha, respect, appreciation, and gratitude for you all.